I went on a first date recently, and I'm not great at first dates. Like, I'm great. You would be honored. I think what I mean by that is, like, I'm not open. Like, I'm not an open person. No, that's not the right way of saying that. Okay. All right, this is one of the dumber things I'm gonna say. I saw this thing on TikTok. Shut up, it's like reading, all right? No. Okay, all right. It was this dating coach, and she essentially said the whole point of a first date is to find out if you want to go on a second date, and the whole point of a second date is to find out if you want to go on a third date, and the whole point of a third date is to find out if you want to go on a fourth date. And after the fourth date, you can start asking some larger questions. But if I'm being honest, I wasn't doing that. I was going on every first date thinking, will I have a friendly divorce with this man? I was too far in the future. And if I'm being really honest, I'm not great at any first impression. Like, I haven't finished the pilot episode of a new TV show in almost a year. I can't seem to get locked in. And my little sister, she's almost like a TV life coach. Like, I'll call her up, I'll be like, Emmy, give me a show. I need a new show to watch. And she's like, you gotta watch Severance. I was like, no, man, I watched 40 minutes of the pilot. I couldn't get into it. She's like, you got to give it 6 episodes. 6 episodes? That's 6 hours. I hate it now. And you want me to give it 6 hours of my... I don't want Severance. I want New Girl. Right? I want to show that I'm almost upset how much I like the pilot, and then I binge watch 40 episodes in a weekend, and I start to lose touch with reality. I'm like, am I Zooey Deschanel? Right? Like, if I get bangs and learn how to dress, could I be Zooey Deschanel? And am I in love with my roommates? I hope they die, and we don't talk. It's like, you watch New Girl because you know what's going to happen next. I don't know what Severance is about, and my sister explained it twice. I want to go on a first date, and I want to know how it's going to end. Shit, I think I just explained anxiety. That can't be right. I didn't date for 3 years. I didn't date at all for 3 years, and then I got back into it, and I ended up going on a couple of dates with this guy, and I felt nothing. Right? Like, nothing good, nothing bad, but I don't know. I was gonna go on another date with him because I thought maybe it took 6. Right? Maybe it's like a show. So before I went on the date, I called up my little sister, and she asked, are you going to have sex with this man? And I said, if he is even remotely nice to me, I will fuck the shit out of this man. Do we understand? Because it's been a while. It's been a bit. We're dusty. We're just looking for a dick broom. We're not looking for anything special. Some dicks are just subletters. I know you don't want to hear it, but not all dicks are permanent residents. Some are just there for renovation, right? Like, I'm starting an HGTV show called Renovate That Vagina. Yeah. You buy it, and then you flip it. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means in the real context or mine. I'll never own a home. Yeah, I got. Neither will you. It's fine. When you haven't dated for a while and you get back into it, you have like these weird starter relationships. So I ended up talking to this guy every single day for 2 months, but we only went on 3 dates. And partially that was because he was a travel nurse. You don't need to know what that is. You just need to know he travels, and he was a nurse. And I travel, and I help no one. So after the 3rd date, I was going to be in town for a little bit. So I texted him. I was like, hey, man, I had a really great time. Would you like to hang out again? And he just wrote back, sure. I think we can all agree that's not the right response, right? Like, I don't know if you can tell. I'm humble. I don't need a fuck yeah, but I do need a I'd be honored. So I'm about to be half bitchy, right? I'm not gonna be full bitchy. I was gonna be like, hey man, if you don't want this, I don't fucking need to do. I was gonna be at that level. But before I could say anything, he was like, here's my schedule. I'd be happy to hang out, but just so you know, I'm not feeling any butterflies. And I don't know where all of my therapy went. Because what I wrote back was, hey man, I'm not feeling any butterflies either because I'm not fucking 14 years old, all right? We're both almost 40. The only adults I know that feel butterflies are if they have IBS or they've never met anyone pretty before. So I'm sorry I'm not flapping around to get your attention. You're a fucking nerd. He didn't write back. All nurses are heroes, just not him. I'm seeing a new guy now, and he heard me tell that joke, and he's like, I didn't love the butterflies joke. I was like, oh, why? He goes, well, when we first started dating, I felt butterflies. Yeah. We talked about it for a while, and it turns out I'm a monster. I was wrong the whole time. People have feelings. I wasn't raised with those. I did what I was supposed to do, obviously. I went on a bunch of first dates, and I remember I went on this one first date, and again, I felt nothing, but for some reason that day, that nothing feeling made me so sad that the next day, I adopted 2 kittens. I don't have to tell you, I don't drink. This is how I deal with my emotions, all right? Their names are Lunchbox and Ghost. I'm very good at naming things. I don't know how to monetize it. I bring these kittens home, and they are immediately shitting diarrhea. Just diarrhea. I cannot even begin to tell you how bad my apartment smells. We are getting further away from bringing men over. What was the plan, Liz? I'm very fortunate. Both my parents are veterinarians, and there's pros and cons to having vet parents. Pro, I can ask my parents whatever I want. They'll always help me with my pets. Con, I always assume my pets are dying, and my parents reinforce those thoughts. I call up my mom. I'm almost on the verge of tears. She's like, hey, it's going to be fine. Let's monitor it. So every day, she sends me a poop emoji, and every day back, I send a picture of kitten diarrhea. Yeah, that's the relationship I have with my mom. I'm sorry you guys aren't close with yours. Somebody asked me recently, they're like, have you ever been scared your pictures are gonna be leaked and someone's gonna see all your private photos? And I was like, and find what? What are they gonna find? They're gonna find pictures of dead cats, not explaining, alive cats, and kitten diarrhea. That's my entire photo album. Yes, I have tit pictures. Obviously, I have tit pictures, but my face isn't in my tit pictures. I'm a fucking adult, all right? My face is in those diarrhea pictures. Because I did my eyeliner that day. I want my mom to give me a compliment and tell me if my cats are dying. We don't have time for 2 pictures. So, after a couple of days, my mom calls me up. She goes, hey, you have to take their food away. We have to rest their intestines. And I don't know if you've ever taken food away from an animal, but you don't get to have a nice day anymore. They lose their goddamn minds. Dude, 5 hours into this fast, Ghost thinks I'm an idiot. He thinks I forgot how to open cans. He's like, you open the can, you dumb bitch. I went to get a glass of water. He's like, the fuck you're having water? I died, you died, we die together. Insane. I can't get any work done in my apartment. And a couple of years ago, I did a tour all over Jordan, and it happened to be during Ramadan. And the booker pulls us aside. He goes, hey, everybody in this country is fasting. It's super impolite to eat in public. And I was like, sure. Obviously. But it kind of made me realize I almost exclusively eat in public. Is anybody else like this? I'm always in a granola bar or an apple. I'm just Steve Jobsing it at all times. And I'm not... Dude, I work an hour a night. I'm not in a rush. There's no reason for this behavior. It caused some self-awareness, and I stopped doing it. Now, fast forward, my cats have been fasting for 12 hours. I'm taking all my meals in the bathroom. And now I'm trying to teach Lunchbox the Quran. I bought them a rug. They never use the cat beds you get them. They don't respect religion. They're just like their mother. All right. I want to tell you a story, but I have to preface it with this. He's fine. 3 weeks ago, I washed one of my cats in the washing machine. He's fine! Why would I tell this story if he wasn't? He's the long-haired one. He probably needed it. Here we go. All right. I have 2 cats. They're brothers, but for some reason, one is long-haired and one is short-haired, and one is really smart and one is really dumb. I don't have kids. Does the DNA run out? I don't understand how one can be so smart and one can be... Dude, one's gonna go to college. If the other one eats and doesn't choke, we're gonna be proud of them. Who did you wash, Liz? I washed Lunchbox. He's the dumb one. So, I get that you guys all live here, so I feel like we're all on the same page when I say this. A couple of months ago, I moved to a new apartment, and I now have a washing machine in my apartment. Yeah! Thank you so much. Fucking yeah, Brooklyn. Dude, you don't even understand. I've been going all across the nation saying this. I don't think they understand. There's 7 of us in the entire city. I am one of the elite, all right? I love dude, every time I do a load of wash, I sit in front of it and I watch it like it's the ocean. I am obsessed with my washing machine. You know who's also obsessed? Lunchbox. Every time I try to do a load of wash, he goes in, I pull him out, he goes in, I pull him out. I don't know if the steel feels good on his toe beans, but it's the only place in my apartment that doesn't have fur. You can't go in there, bud. So, my best friend's coming to stay with me and I'm cleaning my apartment. So I throw the sheets in the wash. And then I did that move. I did the little loop-de-loop to see if there's anything else I need to clean. But I have a tiny apartment. It took 20 seconds. There was nothing else. I shut the door, and then I went into the other room because I was gonna put on music, and I was gonna rock out as I cleaned my apartment. And I start to hear faint meows. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't do anything right away. Come on, if you have cats, you know they're always getting trapped in closets and shit, and sometimes I leave them in there for a second. Sometimes I make them stay in there as punishment for what I know they're absolutely gonna do in the future. They're always murdering plants and breaking glasses. Why don't you stay in there for a second and think about it next time? So I don't do anything right away. But then I start to hear the meows again, and when I look over, Ghost is staring at the washing machine, and it feels spooky. And I start to see his eyes following something. I realize what's happening. I rip open the door. He bolts out. Ghost looks back like, he's a kitten. You're a monster. He was in there for 2 minutes. Water never touched his body, but he got tussled around a bit. I think he thinks I sent him to space camp, and he's too fat to go to space camp. He would have never survived space camp. So I call up my dad. I'm like, Dad, I washed Lunchbox in the washing machine. He's like, okay. Unfazed. Have you ever talked to your veterinarian? My dad's been a veterinarian for almost 40 years. Anything that could go wrong with an animal, he's experienced. Anything you can find in a cat's stomach, he's found in a cat's stomach. He's found weed in a cat's stomach. He's found condoms in a cat's stomach. He's found weed in condoms in a cat's stomach. Is that a cat mule? I didn't even know they made him that small. So I was like, Dad, I washed him in the washing machine. He's like, I'm sure he's fine. I was like, Dad, I think he thinks I sent him to space camp. He's like, he's too fat to go to space camp. I was like, I know! He's like, fine, let's check him out. So he goes, check his eyes. I check his eyes. They're fine. He goes, check his gums. I check his gums. They're fine. He's like, he's fine. I was like, Dad, he's not fine. He goes, Liz, I think you just traumatized him. That's the meanest thing my father's ever said to me. Because essentially what he's saying is, if this was my child, this would be the first memory he shares with his therapist. When I was 7 months old, my mom washed me in a washing machine, and now every time a billionaire goes to space, I have a panic attack. I know you're wondering, have I learned from my mistakes? I have. We now have a washing machine safety protocol. Essentially, I printed out a picture of Lunchbox, I taped it to the washing machine, and it just says, have you seen Lunchbox? That's not good enough. You turn around, there's a bigger picture of him, and it says, no, really, are you holding lunchbox? And then I took a scan of his paw, I taped it to the start button. He's the only one legally allowed to start the washing machine. It's been 21 days since I washed a cat, everybody. A week later, his tail set on fire. I can't. Somebody needs to take these cats away from me. I can be honest. I got 2 cats because I was lonely. I can admit that. But then, like, a couple months after I got them, I ended up getting into, like, a pretty serious relationship, and it just feels like I overcorrected the problem. Right? Like, nobody needs 2 cats and a guy. Like, somebody's got it's lunchbox. If anybody wants lunchbox, I'm gonna auction them off. I think this is the perfect opportunity. But I'm an honest seller. All right, you need to know, he is the dumbest cat I've ever had. Like, truly dumb as dude. I would say like 86% of the time he has poop stuck to his butt. Do you know what that means? That means he's too dumb to know how to shit properly. Like, what? Doesn't matter. The bidding is starting at $7.50. That's $7.50. If you don't live here, free shipping. I feel like that's a really great deal. You're pulling back. Okay. I'll say this. I'm going to show pictures after the show. If you end up taking Lunchbox, all I ask is that you take him with his favorite toy, which is poop. I feel like that's one person. That clap that's contractual. You have to take him. He's so cute. He's so dumb. I should tell you about the boy that I'm seeing because I kept him. He's unlike any guy I've ever dated. He is completely covered in tattoos. His nose is pierced. His tongue is split. And he does this thing called suspension. Oh, no sounds. Oh, I can't wait to explain this to you guys. Okay. Oh, this is a big responsibility. Okay, essentially, they put hooks in their skin, like their back and their legs, and dude, that's how I feel, all right? He's telling me all of this on our 3rd date, and I'm freaking out. Dude, I have giant anime eyes. I don't know how to hide my feelings. He's looking at my eyes. He's like, hey, I don't do weird sex stuff. I was like, I wasn't even there yet. Freaking out. But what you should also know about him is he doesn't drink. He's never drank. He doesn't do drugs. He doesn't smoke. He doesn't even drink caffeine. And the whole time he's telling me this, I was like, just do drugs. Dude, the feeling you're chasing is drugs. You don't need to do this. This is crazy. Why would you do this? Dude, everybody else is getting on a plane to their destination. You're walking barefoot through a thorn bush for miles. Just say yes to drugs. That night, I Googled the benefits of a split tongue. We've been dating for 9 months, so get yourself a handyman. They're so generous. He is completely covered in tattoos, which is not my preference nor my father's. And I ended up learning a lot about myself. Like, I learned I have an issue with tattoos, which is weird because I have tattoos. My friends have tattoos. I like art. I like people that express themselves. I don't feel like I was judging him. I was judging him. And I think what I learned is I have a prejudice against people completely covered in tattoos. Because I think we all think the same thing, right? When you see somebody completely covered, one of them's gotta be a swastika. Right, like statistically speaking, because we've all seen the prison documentaries. And I didn't want to take off his shirt and be like, you're not as nice as I thought you were. I didn't want to be surprised. And you know, I liked him right away. I really did. I liked him a lot. But I could also tell I was scared of him. So I called on my little sister, and she's like, what are you scared of? And I was like, his hands are tattooed. that just feels wild to me. She's like, all right, what's on his hands? I was like, oh, he has the word stay busy tattooed on his knuckles. But she heard bake ziti? Yeah, dude, I'm not scared of a dude that has baked ziti on his knuckles. That's a dude that every year for his birthday, his mom used to make him baked ziti, so now every time he does the dishes, he thinks of her fondly. I'm not scared of baked ziti, I'm scared of stay busy. Stay busy what? Murdering? What does stay busy mean? Freaking out. And you know what? He's 40 years old. He got most of these tattoos in his 20s. And I don't want to judge a man for what he's done in his... I don't want to be judged for what I did in my 20s. But I think we all know how tattoos work. Right? It's a commitment. It's a vow. It's a vow to your future self, saying my preferences will never change and this band is definitely never going to break up. So... the next person on my Should I Date This Man tour was my friend Nitika. And my friend Nitika, she's very smart, but she's also like foo-foo spiritual. So she's like, okay, what I'm hearing, what Saturn is hearing, what the universe is hearing, is if this man can commit to Blink-182, he can commit to you. Did you give me like a Taylor Swift lyric? But it really helped. It gave me a lot of confidence. So that night, I went home with him. I took off all his clothes. No swastika, guys! He has no swastika! Yeah! He has 3 cat tattoos. He's like a Kinder Surprise. He has made it very clear I have to tell every audience he doesn't have a Blink-182 tattoo. Yeah. His exact words is, I'd rather they believe I'm covered in swastikas. Which is so dramatic. I mean, they got back together. They're back on tour. I mean, so are Nazis. They're also on tour. This got sad. I apologize. I am very appreciative that you guys are here. I live in Brooklyn, so none of us traveled, and that's great. I'm sure it was still a nightmare. But I tour all over the country. I travel all over the world. If anybody's ever seen my tour schedule, I think we both know I don't understand geography. I'm just ping-ponging around this country. Just me and Taylor Swift ruining the environment. But this is the thing, is like I travel a lot, but I don't think people understand when they come out to see me, like, I don't have to come back. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Like, I don't have, like... So, like, I don't know how other comics are, but I have, like, 3 criteria of why I would come back to your city. So, like, the first one is that people show up. Great job, everybody. Second is you laugh at my jokes. Excellent work. But third is when I'm out and about. I'm getting coffee. I go to have lunch. People are nice. Right? And I don't think you need to talk to that many people in a city to really find out if they're nice. Also, I live here. I live in New York. My level of what nice is pretty low, right? Like, I'll hold the door for you, but I'm gonna be a bitch about it. Like, let's hurry it. People have shit to do. I don't have anything to do, but people have shit to do, and we need to fucking move it along. So, I just got back from doing a 2-week tour all over Europe. And what you need to know for this story is I brought my best friend from childhood with me. I've known her almost 30 years. She's never been to Europe before. The first stop on our tour is Paris. She is of French descent, and the day we arrive, it's her birthday. So, I'm not smart. I don't feel like I have like a lot of I don't know how I've made it this far in my own life, okay? But I can tell you now, after touring almost 40 countries, the one thing I understand, the one thing I have a little bit of confidence in, is subway systems. And there's 2 types of subway systems in the entire world. There's the New York subway system, which is a single ride system, right? 290, doesn't matter if you go 2 stops or all the way to the Bronx, you tap, you swipe, you don't need to tap or swipe to get out. Then there's the London subway system, which is a zone system. So you tap, you swipe, and depending on how far and how many zones you go, when you tap and swipe to get out, that's what you pay. Every system in the world is one or the other. So we get to Paris, it's a single ride system, 210 euros, a single ride on the card. I was like, we got this. In the 5 minutes that we're waiting for the train, 3 different people come up to me and ask me for directions. I don't think you understand what kind of big dick energy I have right now. I'm incredible, by the way. I'm helping people. I'm using words I don't know. I'm like, get off at the Bajor stop. I don't know what I'm saying, but I know I'm right. And my friend's so impressed. She's like, you're amazing. I was like, fucking yeah, I am. Level 10. Don't know if I've ever felt this good about myself in my life. So we get off at our stop, and to my dismay, you need your ticket to get out. Doesn't make sense for a single ride system. So I look for my ticket. I found it. My friend Danny, she looks for hers. She can't find hers. But I was like, it doesn't matter. I have the receipts. It just doesn't matter. So we exit together through a larger luggage gate, and almost immediately, a man dressed all in black swoops in front of us, cuts us off, and puts on an armband. And I think we can all collectively agree we don't do armbands anymore. Right? It's scary. I don't care if it says we like hugs. We don't do armbands. But I'm not even registering the armband because I'm in helper bee mode. I was like, oh my God, this man needs me. Boo, show me your Google Maps. I'm reaching for his phone. He's looking at me like I'm crazy. He's like, English? I was like, English. He goes, where's your ticket? I go, here. He goes, where's her ticket? I go, oh, we couldn't find it, but I have the receipts. And I pull out both receipts. But he won't look at them. It's always so sad when people can't read, but it's like, okay. He's like, all right, it's gonna be 60 euros. I go, why? He goes, because you didn't pay. I go, but that's not true, because if you could read, there's the date and the time, and the date and the time, and here's my ticket. And at that moment, Danny was searching, she pops up, she found her ticket. I was like, we're good. He goes, no, you exited incorrectly, it's 60 euros. I was like, what is this, middle school? If the whole point is to pay for a service, we can prove we paid for a service. He goes, no, if you didn't know what you were doing, you should have asked somebody. I go, hey man, this is a major city. We don't speak the language. You're dressed like unfriendly ninjas. These are unrealistic expectations for society. I'm not paying. He's acting crazy. He's talking about how it's gonna be more money. He's talking about calling the police. I don't know what to do. We've been in this country for 10 minutes. I have a show in 5 hours. It's my best friend's birthday. Fine. I'll pay your ticket. But just so we're clear, henceforth, I will be committing real crime. Right? If you're gonna treat me like a criminal, I'm gonna act like a criminal. I'm gonna start stealing your croissants. I'm gonna jaywalk. That take a penny, leave a penny, I'm taking all your fucking pennies. This is my villain origin story. I'm gonna find the Taliban, I'm gonna figure out why they hate you, we're gonna come together, and we're gonna fuck up France. This is where nobody likes you. I didn't say that. What I said is, I hope you have a bad day. But he felt it. I know he felt it. He was like, he looked super frowny. I know the French don't smile, but it was like double frown. I saw him smoking a cigarette. He didn't look like he enjoyed it. He's dead now. I don't know. We can only hope. Okay. I'm gonna tell you another story, but I just have to, it's gonna come off as bragging for like the first 2 minutes, okay? But if you stick with me, if you come along for this journey, I'm gonna change your life, okay? It's gonna be like a Tony Robbins seminar. You're all gonna be entrepreneurs after this. I'm telling you, you're gonna be like, we didn't pay enough money for these tickets. We are changed forever, okay? So, I have sky priority, like I have airline status with 2 separate airlines, okay? Thank you so much. Yeah, I will accept that. Okay, for everybody not clapping, if you don't understand, what that means is in the sky, I'm better than all of you. Dude, I have no ground priority. I barely have a savings account. But in the sky, people treat me right. I'm sky royalty. I'm a sky princess. So, for 2 weeks, I fought to get $30 back from American Airlines, and I won. Yeah! Yes! I won, and I still need people to know this story, all right? So, if you don't fly as much as me, you might not know this, but sometimes you'll book a flight, like I booked a flight with American, and anywhere from like a couple of hours to a couple of weeks later, out of nowhere, they'll send you an email telling you you're on a completely different airline, okay? So I get an email, and they're like, you're flying JetBlue now. Oh, I don't like JetBlue. I don't fly JetBlue. They don't know me. You're crazy, okay? Because you don't know if they're gonna treat you the way you're accustomed to being treated. And my big thing is, I get 2 free checked bags, and I need these 2 free checked bags, okay? So I do due diligence. I call up American. I go, hey, American, you're making me fly like your cousin's airline or something. Are they gonna honor my 2 free checked bags? And they're like, Your Highness. Of course, we see your status, of course. I don't trust it. I have anxiety. I go to JetBlue. I call up JetBlue. I go, hey, JetBlue, they're making me fly your shitty airline. I don't even know if you have doors. I have no idea what you have. Are you gonna honor my 2 free checked bags? And they're like, Milady. Of course. They called us, of course. Fine. I've talked to 2 people. I feel I've done all I can do. I get to the airport, and nobody is treating me the way. Dude, I'm in a line. I'm in a slow-moving line. Nobody's thanking me for my loyalty. There's no joy in anybody's eyes. And they charge me $30, and I am livid. Dude, you know what? I don't even have time to fight. I have TSA pre and global entry. I don't have time to be with the peasants. I don't have time. But I'm gonna fight to get, dude, I don't have a day job. You have fucked with the wrong person if you don't think I'm gonna fight to get my money back. And this is what you need to know about me. I've read 3 negotiation books, and I'm gonna save you hours of your life and 800 pages. It's about wearing people down, all right? You gotta find the right person, and you gotta wear them down. So I'm not even at my gate yet. I'm already on the phone with American. It's going great. Verbal joy, verbal smiles. They thank me for my loyalty. And she goes, hey, hun, you're gonna get your money back, but you have to complete your flight and get to your destination first. I don't know why I fell for this. Right, it just sounded like airport logic, but we all know Cassandra just didn't want to get yelled at, right? She's like, not me, not today. You sound white. She's not wrong. So I do what she says. I get to my destination. I call back. This guy goes, hey, I would love to help you. Just hasn't registered in the system yet. All right, Billy, it's a Friday. I don't like working. You don't like working. I respect your laziness. But it's like, what am I doing? I hate the phone. I have a degree in writing. What are we doing? Let's use it. So I get on Twitter, right? I go to Twitter, I'm talking to like a teenager or a robot, I can't tell the difference. This teen bot tells me no 4 times. Dude, I'm not even mad, right? I'm not mad, he's too young. What am I doing? I need to go back on the phone. I need somebody older. I need somebody 60 or above. I need somebody with a headset. I need somebody that doesn't know how to type. I need somebody with less hope, okay? So I get back on the phone, this guy goes, hey, I wish I could help you, but honestly, the best way to get your money back is to go back online and file a formal complaint. And I was like, you know what, Liz? You say you like writing. Let's fucking do this, all right? I write a perfect email. I write a beautiful email. What does a perfect, beautiful email look like? Thank you for asking. It reads like a psychopath, right? Every single person I talk to, I have their name, I have the number I called, the extension, what we talked about, what was promised to me, my lawyer's number. I want somebody to read this email, start crying, and quit immediately. That's the goal. And if borderline happens, she immediately gives me a supervisor. Oh, I fucking love we all love a supervisor. Why do we love a supervisor? They've been yelled at the most, right? But I don't know if it was this woman's first week on the job. She tells me no 3 times. I'm about to give up. I was like, this is crazy. But I do my last plea deal. I go, hey. I know you know about my status. We've talked about it a lot. But what we haven't talked about is how I've flown your airline for 15 years. And this is the first time I'm complaining. I know that's in your system. And what am I complaining about? $30. That's batshit crazy, right? That's negotiation tactic number 2. You want them to know that you're batshit crazy, right? Before she says anything to her coworker, you want to get in her head, you want to spook her a little bit. And then you got to talk truth to power. I was like, hey, hun, this isn't your money. This is Mr. American's money. This is Miss JetBlue's money. Girl, this ain't your money. Give me my money. She gave me my money, guys. Yes! I have to be honest. It was a $30 credit. Shh. Shut up, I already used it. That's not the point. Okay. Yes, we all know I spent $250 in man hours to get back, which was essentially a $30 credit, but that's not the point. The point is about being right, okay? I was so excited. The first person I called was my dad. He was like, I've never been so proud of you in my life. I was like, thank you, Papa. Second person I called was my best friend. She was like, this tracks. Third person I told was a man I went on a first date with. Shut up, it came up organically, okay? We start talking about books. I was like, oh, what book are you reading? He's like, oh, I'm reading this book about negotiation. I was like, oh my God, was it written by the FBI agent? He's like, yeah. I was like, okay, is it called Never Split the Difference? He's like, yeah. I was like, all right, I'm gonna save you hours of your life and 300 pages. It's about wearing people down. I fucked that guy now, guys. That's my boyfriend. Yeah. I made a hot companion pass that day. I made a Sky Prince. So that's how you make royalty if you didn't know. Okay. 2 months into the relationship with my boyfriend, out of nowhere, he was like, I think I'm gonna get a vasectomy. Which is fine. I'm 39. I've never wanted to have kids. He's 40. He's never wanted to have kids. We kind of talked about it once. Sure. I guess what bothered me is it felt early for us, right? Like it just felt like he got to know me a little bit and was like, I don't think I want to make mistakes with this one. It felt personal. It felt hurtful. Sorry, if you don't know what a vasectomy is, I don't either. I don't know. It's called snip snip. It's not my body. I stopped doing research, but I did end up learning a lot about it. Like, I didn't know this. Did you know that after you get a vasectomy, you have to do 12 to 14 comes before you can have unprotected sex? Am I the only person that thought it was instantaneous? I don't know. I guess the only way that I can understand why it's not instant is I kind of think sperm is a little bit like making soda. Right? So you have the syrup that goes down the valve into the carbonation, but when you cut the valve, there's still syrup babies in the valve, and you don't want them to drip out and accidentally make soda babies. Is this scientifically accurate? Probably not. But have I ruined soda for everyone? Yeah, I have. Okay, not the point. The point is you have to keep track of your ejaculations. He's very organized, and how he keeps track of anything in his life is he emails himself. So he started emailing himself every time he ejaculated, and when he told me that, I was like, well, I feel like I should be on this email chain. Because keeping count could affect my body, not realizing that every time he masturbated, I would get an email alert. So the next day, in the middle of the day, I just get an email that says 4? When did you have time to... You said you were getting lunch with your parents. When did you have time to squirt out a 4? Also, that's all he would do, by the way. He would just email a number. And I was like, come on, man, it's just me and you on this email chain. Like, let's have fun with it. But his definition of having fun with it is he started sending, like, passive-aggressive work emails. So the next day I get an email that says, to whom it may concern. I cometh the 5th time today. First of all, neither of us know how to spell cometh, so why don't we cut that out? Second of all, isn't this the perfect definition of it should have been a meeting? Why are you doing all these come emails by yourself? Why don't you come over for a come meet? We've been calling sex come meetings. Yeah, it's actually ruined our sex life. It just shows up on your Google Calendar. Nobody put it there. All right, I want to tell you the full vasectomy story, but before I do, I just have to preface it with this. He's fine. Okay. So if you've never had a vasectomy, you don't know anything about it, there's really like two camps of urologists. There's ones that do a twilight anesthesia because it's just a 10-minute in-office procedure, and there's ones that don't. The doctor he was going to do the anesthesia, and he needed somebody to pick him up from the office. So he asked me, will you come with me? And I said, I'll take the day off, which is hilarious because it's 2 months in, and he doesn't know I don't do anything, right? But I'm not gonna tell him I'm gonna look like a hero. I was like, I cleared my week for you, baby. I got you. So. I felt like we did research, right? He talked to a bunch of my male comic friends. He talked to a bunch of his guy friends. Every single guy was like, easy peasy. You're sore for a couple of days. You put some frozen bags of peas on your dick. You make some dick jokes. Not a big deal. So the day of the procedure, we get to the office. We're both in a good mood. I'm making jokes. I have to fill out paperwork. It's like, what's your relationship? I was like, best girlfriend ever, high-fiving the nurses. And it went great. 10 minutes, comes out, he's fine. I take him home, he gets in bed, anesthesia starts to wear off, and he starts vomiting everywhere. He ends up vomiting 5 or 6 times. I'm cleaning up his vomit, just being like, this isn't why I took off. It is why I didn't want to have kids. What a great reminder, baby. You're so smart. But he starts to tell me he's in excruciating pain. He's telling me he's at like a level 8 pain. And if you don't remember, covered in tattoos, things are pierced that shouldn't be pierced. He's pretty good with pain. And he's saying this is some of the worst pain he's ever experienced. And it's just not lining up with what we were told. So I call up the nurses, and I'm gonna be honest, I have so much empathy for these nurses. These are vasectomy nurses. Every single day, men are calling them up, feeling pain for the first time. And these women could give a fuck. Oh my God, they gave 0 fucks. They were like, he's fine, and hung up. I was like, what? I called 4 times. Every single time, they're like, he's fine, and hung up. And I don't know what to do. Because over the course of a couple of hours, his balls swelled to the size of a grapefruit. And over the course of a couple of days, he swells and bruises from his hips to his asshole. Whatever you're imagining, it's 10 times worse. And I don't know what to do. These women aren't getting back to us. So the first person I think to reach out to is my older sister. My older sister's been an emergency room nurse for 15 years. I text her with little to no context. I was like, boyfriend got a vasectomy, balls are huge, don't know what to do. She's like, this is out of my jurisdiction, let me ask my husband. She texts my brother-in-law, who's an EMT and a firefighter, even less context. She's like, Liz's boyfriend's balls are huge, doesn't know what to do. He's at the firehouse. He's like, let me just ask the guys. He asked everybody at the firehouse. My sister-in-law's boyfriend's balls are huge. Anybody have any ideas? So now half of Virginia's debating my boyfriend's balls, and we're no closer to any answers. So we start Googling. And I know you shouldn't Google, but we're desperate. And it starts to look like he has scrotal hematoma. And all the pictures are of dog balls. And I was like, you know who knows about dog balls? My dad. So I call my dad again with almost no context. I was like, boyfriend got a vasectomy, balls are huge, we think he has scrotal hematoma. My dad's incredible, by the way. My dad's amazing. He's telling me what he thinks is happening. My dad's telling me what he thinks is gonna happen next. My dad's telling me the best way to take care of him. I'm getting overwhelmed. I'm like, should we put him down? He was like, probably. Eventually, the nurses call us back. They prescribe him Percocet. I pick it up. He takes it. He really starts to feel better. He's like, wow, drugs are great. I was like, I told you. But we get through day 1. The next day, we go back to the original doctor, and he confirms that he must have hit a blood vessel, and it is, in fact, scrotal hematoma. It's incredibly rare. Less than 1% chance of it happening, but for some reason, it happens more to dogs? I don't know. Nobody explained that part. I can't help you. But he essentially said, hey, the worst of it's over. Your body's just going to have to heal on its own. But if it does get worse, you're gonna have to go to the ER. So we go back home. He's still very uncomfortable. He feels very defeated. And I don't know if you can tell, but like, I'm not the best caregiver, right? Like, that's not where I feel like my expertise is. Like, I'm trying, I'm fetching frozen bags of peas, but like, I feel like what I bring is like making light of things and bringing humor to the world. So like, every time he would struggle to get up, I was like, you got big ball energy, biggest balls in Brooklyn, like really make him feel good about his new situation. So we get through the first week. At the end of the week, I had a road gig in Connecticut. I'm driving home in the middle of the night. He calls me up and he's like, something ain't right. I really think we need to go to the emergency room. So we get up super early. We go to the ER. We're sitting in the lobby. He looks at me and he goes, don't be weird. But I wrote down that you're my wife. I was like, why would you do that? He's like, I don't know, I just feel like they're not gonna let you back there with me if I don't tell them that you're my wife. Is that okay? And I was like, sure. But it's like, this isn't how I imagined it. Right? I don't know, I thought I'd know him better. I thought it would be more romantic. I thought his balls would be smaller. I had hopes and dreams for this moment. Also, I'm barely this man's girlfriend, and now I have to be a wife? I don't know how to wife. Do you yell? I don't know what I'm putting on lipstick. I'm looking for monologues. I am stressed. Eventually, they call us back. We go to the back of the hospital. You know, it's a little curtained off area. It's a bed. He puts on a little paper gown. But there's nowhere in this curtained off area for me to stand. So I'm kind of awkwardly standing outside of it. And at some point, this nurse comes over, and she's like, who are you? And I was like, his wife? It felt amazing, by the way. I get it. She like cowered away. I was like, fucking yeah. My boyfriend's like, are you okay? And I was like, I'm a wife now. Eventually, a doctor comes over. He lifts up his gown, and he's like, whoa, I'm so sorry. And I was like, biggest balls in Brooklyn. And he's like, yeah. And then he goes, can I take a picture? We're like, sure? He goes, the urologist is upstairs. I want to take a picture, show him, and when he's ready, he'll come down and he'll talk to you guys. So we're like, okay. But then he just takes out his cell phone? Am I wrong for believing there's a doctor camera that doesn't leave the facilities? Now my boyfriend's balls are next to pictures of his nieces and cupcakes? Dude, he walked away. I was like, $10 says by the end of the day, your balls are on the internet. Right? I'm gonna be scrolling through Instagram like, honey, I think your nuts are going viral. I recognize these balls. They are huge. So at some point, he goes upstairs. They want to do a sonogram. They want to do a bunch of blood tests. I'm sitting on the bed waiting for him to get done. And I start to overhear the doctor talking about him to the urologist. And when I look over, the urologist is wearing a winter coat, and he has a bag. And he starts to walk away, and I don't know, it felt like he was leaving the building. So I ran after him, and I was like, hey, are you going to talk to my husband? He's like, yeah, I'm going upstairs to talk to him right now. I was like, fucking yeah, you are. I look at the doctor. I ask him a question. He answers it. But then he just starts diving into everything that's going on with him. He's telling me all the tests they're doing, everything that he's worried about's happening with him, all the drugs he might need to take. I'm getting overwhelmed. I'm like, should we put him down? He's like, do you mean anesthesia? I was like, no, I mean euthanasia. He's like, I don't think you do. I was like, no, I'm a wife, and if I want to unplug him, that's my right as a wife. He's like, I don't think you're anybody's wife. They're usually not excited. Eventually, they release him. They say the same thing the original doctor said. They said he's fine, that his body's just going to have to heal on his own. So we go back home. Again, he's still very uncomfortable. He feels defeated. And I don't know if you can tell, but like, in my panic, I ended up telling my entire family about a situation. Because because they're all in the medical field. And everybody's being incredible. Like every day my mom would check in, like she would send me 2 ball emojis. I would send back 2 bigger ball emojis. But it's like a week and a half in, and he still hasn't told his parents. And I was like, dude, you gotta tell your parents. So he calls up his parents, and you have to know that he's an only child, so they like really love him. They're freaking out. They're like, oh my God, do you want us to come over? Do you need us to come take care of you? He's like, no, Liz is taking care of me. I was like, because I'm a wife now. He's like, you gotta stop. But eventually he puts him on speakerphone, and they're being so kind. They're like, thank you so much for taking care of our son. We don't know what we would do without you. Is there any way that we can help out? And I know I'm supposed to say something equally kind and reassuring back. I know I'm supposed to be like, I would do anything for him. It was my pleasure. His balls will be normal someday. Just something to put everybody at ease. But instead, what comes rolling out of my mouth is, he has the biggest balls in Brooklyn. And his dad was like, I knew I had to get dethroned someday. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, we give you a receipt.
How did this happen? I never did anything wrong. Is everyone else this afraid I'm laying down in the street? 'Cause I never did anything. I just can't do anything. I never did anything. I never did anything. I
Bruce would never tolerate this.